No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
It's time for the Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans. The Broncos winning tonight, 28-21 against Nevada. We have the good of the football team winning, and we have the bad of the basketball team falling 84-73 down there in San Francisco. So my name is BJ Rains. We're going to have kind of a joint post-game show here, football and basketball. And again, football game was kind of a weird game. Some turnovers, some sloppy play, some fumbles. But they get the win, and Ashton Genty puts up pretty good numbers, and everything's okay there. And you guys will have to keep me updated. I can hear in the other room the BYU game is on, and I know that Utah was winning that game. So we'll see what happens with that, which Boise State could get some more help here. So hopefully you can hear me okay, see me okay. We got Jaden Finch working behind the scenes. We kind of figured tonight we would just head on home and do the joint football basketball post game at home instead of having to put stuff away at the James at 1 a.m. So was at the football game and went to the post game interviews, talked to Spencer Danielson, talked to some of the players, and then decided to head home to do the show here. So sorry for the delayed start. Wanted to get the basketball game in the books and wanted to make sure we got to the post game interviews as well. Brad Bedell, Kent Riddle, our two normal post game co-hosts are down at TCU visiting Kaylee, Kent Riddle's daughter, who's a student at TCU, and so they went down there for to hang out and go to the football game. So no Riddle or Bedell on the post game. You're just stuck with me, and we're stuck with me and your voicemails. So get your voicemails in. I want to make this an interactive show. I know we got a couple in there already, but essentially it's like you calling into a post game radio show. You just go to speakpipe.com/BNN. Maybe Jaden can put that in the chat here. Speakpipe.com/BNN. It's pretty easy. And you just literally on your phone or your computer, you can record it using the microphone, record a message for us, your thoughts on the game, good, bad, whatever you want to say, football, basketball, and then we get the message and we can play it here on the post-game show. So hoping to get some interaction with you guys. We have all your comments. I see over 60 comments in the chat. We'll play those, talk about those, but we'd love to get some post-game voicemails if you have something you'd like to say audio-wise, and we can play that on the show as well. We are going to hear from Spencer Danielson. We are going to hear from Jeff Choate. how about that post-game handshake? I asked Spencer Danielson about that, and he said it was one of the shorter ones that he's been a part of. So we'll see if we can play that and maybe talk about it. But Jeff Choate looked like kind of blew off Spencer Danielson there. Very quick handshake, and Spencer Danielson did say at the end, yeah, it was one of the shortest handshakes that he's been a part of. So very interesting, I guess you can say, in terms of some of the fun and games happening after the game. But again, final score is 28-21. We have some stats we can put on the screen here. Again, it wasn't pretty for Boise State. And by the way, get your comments in, get all your thoughts and things in, and we'll play them here on the ICCU YouTube chat. This is the ICCU Postgame Show. And again, my name is BJ Rains. We are in the Western Collective Studios. And again, our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. So we'll tell you all about our sponsors throughout the show, but this is basically your show. I'm just here kind of running things. We got Jaden behind the scenes helping out as well. But again, we want your comments, your voicemails. This is your show. So you guys can let us know what you think of the game, the team, where you're at on things, and then we will relay those to folks here on the show. But again, happy to play your messages. And looks like we just got another voicemail come in, Jaden from Everest. So we'll get that locked in. But if folks want to continue to send us your voicemails, we'll get those queued up and locked and loaded here on the show. Final score 28-21. You see the stats on the screen. Boise State, 393 yards. They did get a couple turnovers on defense. They got a couple turnovers on offense. Ashton Genty. Again, Ashton Genty got his. He got over 200 yards with that last run late in the game. He finishes 34 carries, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns. I believe that's 4 straight carries or 4 straight games that Ashton Genty goes over 30 carries. But the yards were a little better for this one, 6.1. He gets the 209 and the 3. I do think that that is a pretty good. If you're just watching, if you don't watch the game and you just go look at the stats, you see he got 209 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't know if that thrusts him back to the front of the Heisman campaign, but it certainly puts him back in the mix. And I don't think that did anything to hurt his campaign at all. Maddox Madsen did not have a great game. 9 for 20, 119 yards, had 1 interception, had another one that it looked like he had. They got called back. I mean, how about that play there near the goal line? You guys may have had a better look than I did, but I did not notice that being an incomplete pass at first glance. I have not seen a good replay of it yet, but I was surprised when they came out of the timeout. I didn't even know they were reviewing the play, and then all of a sudden they say it was incomplete and it's Boise State ball. So I was surprised by that. That was a huge play in the game. And I thought that that was just a huge play. And then Boise State scores on the Genty run, and then they come down and get the goal line turnover. So that was a huge swing in the fourth quarter there. But that was I don't know why they passed the ball there. I mean, again, Dirk Cutter has been doing this a lot longer than I have. He makes a lot more money than I do. And here, who am I to tell Dirk Cutter what he's doing is wrong? But I for the life of me, do not understand a couple things. Number one, why they continue to run the ball up the middle seemingly every play. They very rarely try. They had one outside run. It was like a sweep or something, or I think it was a pitch that went for like a 4 or 5 yard loss. But I do not understand why they continue to run Ashton Genty straight up the middle on almost every play. He had 34 carries tonight, and I would say 31, 32 were up the middle. There was 1 or 2 to the outside, but they were almost all straight up the middle. And I do not for the life of me understand why they continue to run him up the middle, particularly when the linemen that are out right now are the interior linemen. You've got 3 interior linemen out, at least 2, the starters that have been out for a while. And so when you're dealing with other guys on the interior that are out, I would, I think you run to Cage Casey, run to some of your veteran guys. And so I don't understand it. They have a reason for it. They're obviously doing it because they think it's what's best, but I don't understand. And we've asked it before. We'll have to ask it again. Why do they continue to run up the play, run the ball up the middle almost every play? And I mean, it worked tonight. They're going to look at it and say our running back got 200 yards. So, I mean, sure, it worked, but it felt like they just still feel like they could do some more outside runs and mix it up. And with that said, I have no idea why they were throwing the ball with Maddox Madsen on 2nd and 2 there. It is 2nd and goal from the 2. You've got 3 chances to have Ashton Genty run the ball in. First of all, forget about just trying to pad his stats and help him get the Heisman. When you're at the 2-yard line and the whole crowd in the entire stadium is chanting Ashton Genty and Heisman and Ashton Genty, I don't know what exactly they were chanting because I was in the press box, but I think they were chanting something to the effect of Heisman or Genty. And it's 2nd and 2, and he had been running the ball pretty well on that drive and had just had a big run for 30 or 40 yards. And then all of a sudden they try a pass and it gets intercepted. And it was almost like serves you right on that play because he just didn't think that made any sense at that point. They got, really lucky. Again, I did not see the overturn coming, and they did, overturn the play, and then they smartly gave it to Ashton Genty on the next play. And guess what? He scored. So I thought that, again, I feel bad and I feel weird and I feel, wrong, I guess, questioning the play calling of Dirk Cutter. Like, the guy knows what he's doing. I just felt like tonight, sometimes they try to outsmart themselves, and I felt like Ashton Genty near the goal line should be an obvious one. There was another touchdown he had that got called back for a holding, and then they passed it the next play. Like, that felt like they kind of stole one from Ashton Genty there as well. So he got his 3 touchdowns. He got his 200 yards. But I still just didn't understand some of the play calling and some of the things there. And again, Maddox Madsen, I mean, he said it himself. You're going to hear it in a little bit. It was the worst game he's played. He took the ownership for it. He said it wasn't a good game. But again, he, all the haters were quick to come out, and I'm not defending Maddox Madsen. It was not a great game. He didn't play great, but I'm not ready to bench him. I don't think we're going to those extremes yet. He needs to play better though. Everybody has a bad game. He had played really, really good for a couple of games. Lendl says I'm nervous that Madsen's luck is going to run out. Madsen can't win a playoff game. Let's see what else we got here. You know what? I mean, I get it. He's easy. He's a quarterback. He's easy the guy to rip on. Again, the stats only say 1 interception here. He had almost another one right there at the goal line that he really got lucky on. And it was just a weird game. I mean, Boise State had a muffed punt by Latrell Caples. They were lucky to get back, and they were super lucky on the opening kickoff of the third quarter to get that back. They got super lucky on that when Dylan Riley muffed the opening kickoff, and then the ball was just sitting there on the ground, and there was like 3 or 4 Nevada guys going for it. I have no idea how Nevada did not pick that ball up, and they would have had first and goal at the 3 or 4 yard line. Luckily, Boise State was able to knock the ball out of bounds, but that would have been a disaster of a start to the third quarter if Nevada would have recovered that. So that was a huge play in the game. It was just a weird game. Just some turnovers, some sloppiness, as I said, some fumbles. Ashton Genty lost a fumble, and he had another fumble that I don't think got credited, going out of bounds. A play or two before that where he fumbled it going out of bounds. So I just thought it was one of those weird games. And guess what? You still won. I mean, that was kind of the sentiment in the post-game interview. Hey, it wasn't pretty, but you got to survive in advance. You're not going to win every game by 40 points. It was not a perfect game. It was not great, but they did what they needed to do. And they found a way to win the game. Tyson saying last week everyone was loving Madsen. He didn't play good, but I think it's crazy talk to want to bench him at this point. He just made a couple bad throws, and it cost him tonight. I saw some of this talk. Tyler Stockton to Mario Warren need to go, especially Warren. Again, the defense, gave up 21 points tonight. It was 232 passing yards for Nevada. Their quarterback, Lewis, was 17 of 26. We also haven't mentioned yet the trick play. The trick play that Nevada ran got 44 yards on the halfback pass for the touchdown. Don't you expect the Jeff Choate team to run some sort of trick play? I don't know if they had never run that one before, or if Boise State wasn't ready for it, or one guy just didn't do his job, or what. But that is a little bit of an indictment on the coaching staff that, you weren't ready for a trick play like that, and they beat you on that. I mean, you should have expected trick plays. You should have expected fake punts, and on special teams. That was a little surprise that they were able to get that guy that wide open and score that touchdown on the 44-yard play on fourth down. They were sleeping on that one, and that was a big. That was a big-time play for Nevada. And, Boise State got out to the great start. They're up 14-0. Genty's getting his yards. You're thinking, okay, they're just going to absolutely blow them out. But Nevada just kind of hung around and controlled the clock. And, I mean, give them credit. They came in and did what they wanted to do. They were tied going into the third quarter, and they really mucked this game up. And, again, they're only down 7 going to the fourth quarter. And, I mean, let's give the defense some credit. You guys want to rip on the defense again, but they only gave up 21 points, and they held, Nevada to under 400 yards of offense. And I thought that a huge swing in the game was that, right after Boise State, they overturned it, and then Ashton Genty scored to put Boise State up by 14. Then you had Nevada come all the way down to the 2-yard line, and I think and then fumble the ball. And I don't remember if that was the Marco Notriani recovery or which one that. Oh, that was the Irby one. Jeremiah Irby, I believe. Had a big fumble recovery right there at the 2-yard line, and that really changed the game when they were not able to score. Because if they score there and make it a 7-point game, and there's still 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, or whatever it was, they get a stop and they're right back in business. So for Boise State to get that fumble recovery at the 2-yard line, I mean, that was big. I mean, if you're Jeff Choate, and we're going to hear from Jeff Choate in a minute, like you got to be kicking yourself. Like, you did everything you wanted to do. You came in and you had a chance to win this game, and you get an overturned call there down at the goal line in the fourth quarter, and you lose a fumble at the 2-yard line. Like, those are two just absolutely massive swings in this game. And so I thought that that was if you're Nevada and you're Jeff Choate, like on your flight back, I don't know if they've left yet or if they're taking off or what, but you got that, you're going to be kicking yourself because you came in, did everything they wanted to do. They had a great game plan, and then they have two, they don't get the call on the interception there, and then they fumble the ball at the 1-yard line. I certainly thought that was that was a huge swing, a huge play in the game. All right, you guys were talking about the Jeff Choate handshake. I think I can put that on the screen here. Here it is right here. There was a little real quick. That's about all it was on the handshake. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. This was it. It was Jeff Choate coming from the bottom of the screen. Real quick, blows by him, and that's it. So you tell me what you make of that. Is that just a quick handshake? Is that something? Looked like Spencer was ready to talk to him. He kept going. And as I said on my Twitter after the game, the comment from Spencer Danielson was, let's see here. Oh, I'm fighting with some basketball fans on Twitter, so I got to move past those tweets. We'll get back to basketball here in a little bit. But I asked Spencer Danielson about that brief exchange. His quote was, "It was pretty quick. One of the quicker ones I've had." So it was pretty quick, one of the quicker ones I've had, and we will hear from Spencer Danielson to talk about that in a little bit. But Jeff Choate didn't want to give much of a handshake there to Spencer Danielson. So your mama says Boise is good, but not as good as they should be. A lot of underperforming in the secondary. Dude hates Danielson and Dickey. Loser mentality from Choate all along. Let's see. Choate is horrible. Choate is salty. So we'll see if he said anything during the press conference. My understanding is he did not. He played the press conference pretty I guess, respectful, I guess you could say. But that was very interesting. I wasn't expecting to see that kind of quick handshake there. Hope you guys are enjoying a Western Collective Horseshoe Golden Ale. I hope it's okay with you guys. I am enjoying a beverage tonight. Been a long day after this one. Got my Jackson's cup right here. Of course, head out to Jackson's and get all your drinks and food. And I don't think that we got the sack from Ahmed Hassanin tonight. I'll check the stats here real quick. But we had Ahmed Hassanin with 1 tackle for loss, but it was not a sack. So you don't get your 91-cent fountain drink or coffee tomorrow. But we're having a Horseshoe Golden Ale and supporting the sponsors here. So again, Horseshoe Golden Ale, and you can also get the Orange Chaos Seltzer. Those are both available at the stadium, Albertson Stadium. They're both also available at most major retailers, and that is our studio sponsor, Western Collective. You can go out to Garden City and check out their brewery there as well, and that is the Horseshoe Collective, and they get a portion of the proceeds from this. Make sure you remember that. So check them out, the Horseshoe Collective, Golden Ale, and Orange Chaos Seltzer. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com, ROE paint.com. Our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you check out rowpaint.com. And whether there's concrete coatings, interior or exterior painting, they're the best in the business. So I highly recommend you check them out at rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. So make the switch today. The Rains family is certainly happy we did. We just wish we had done it sooner. So you may like your banking experience. You'll like working with ICCU a lot better. Check them out online at Idaho Central Credit Union. And Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley for a reason. The Rains family purchased and sold our homes using Matt Bauscher, and we were very impressed, very thankful that we went with him and his team. Cade, Kelly, Sarah, the whole crew did a tremendous job. We're very thankful. And again, no home is too big or too small. Matt and his team are now part of the Boise State home team. So when you're ready to buy or sell your home, If you want to get top dollar for your sale, make sure you use our friend Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Let's check some highlights out from this game. We appreciate Jaden Finch. I was down there on the field getting some highlights for us here at Bronco Nation News. It's a little choppy on my end. Hopefully it's not on your end, and you guys were good here. But Alexander Tubner, we'll have to talk about him. You see him there right there. He did not end this game. He was in touches later in the game, so we'll have to discuss that, but it doesn't look good for him. There's Jaden Virgin Morgan. Huge sack in the game. Defense didn't have a lot of sacks, but had a big one right there. Here's Maddox Madsen. Finds Matt Lauder for a nice game right there. Matt Lauder had a nice game. 5 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown from Matt Lauder. Ashton Genty, he gets going. It's much more Ashton Genty like tonight. He still didn't have just the super long, 80-yarder, but he had a 46-yarder and had another, a lot of nice runs. And there's Matt Lauder into the half penalty with Genty forward, and then they kick it back, and then Matt Lauder ends up going and kind of blitzed it and touchdown there on the next play. So Matt Lauder scores a touchdown. Boise State takes the 7-0 lead. Nevada coming back with the ball. There's the fumble. They're able to pick it back up, and they lost a lot of yardage on this play, and so that led to Boise State getting the ball back. Here's Ashton Genty doing his thing. Really nice run. I think that was the 46-yarder right there. Puts him down near the goal line. And then, again, Ashton Genty able to punch it in. This one from 4 yards out. There's a little celebration there. And Boise State goes up 14-0 at this point. And you're just thinking, oh, man, they're just going to crush him at this point. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. Blowout on the blue, get the headlines going, but give Nevada credit. They bounced back. They battled back. Their quarterback did some things. 17-yard touchdown run here with his legs. 57 seconds to go in the first quarter. They cut the deficit to 14-7 at this point in the first half. And then here's the interception from Maddox Madsen. Throw the pass over the middle there, but couldn't find his target, and it gets picked off. But again, Boise State gets the ball back, and then Ashton Genty, he fumbles the ball right there and loses it as well. Ashton Genty, his first lost fumble in more than 200 carries. And there's the trick play we were talking about. 4th and 1. They hurry up to the line, the halfback pass, and they end up scoring a 44-yard touchdown with 6:14 to go in the second quarter. This game is tied at 14, and there are some stunned fans inside Albertson Stadium. Boise State coming back. A nice pass there. Didn't hear anything from the Madsen haters on that one. A perfect pass to Cam Camper. He gets Boise State moving in the right direction there. And then Madsen rolling out, decides to do it with his legs tonight. Maddox Madsen at 8 carries, 58 rushing yards tonight. So he continues. I don't know why they don't run the option more. I think they would have some success doing that. But Madsen is showing he can do things with his legs. But then Ashton Genty gets the 1-yard touchdown. This puts Boise State up 21-14. Him and Tyler Crow had the little celebration there, all ready to go. And then here goes Genty doing his thing again. Breaks out another nice long run. Genty gets near the goal line. There's his patented stance, ends up scoring on a 2-yard run at this point. I believe this was after they had the interception overturned in the corner of the end zone. Again, first time they didn't want to run it the first time. They get lucky. The call's overturned. They decide the smart thing to do, let's just give it to Genty the next time, and he scores from 2 yards out. That is his 3rd touchdown of the game. And the defense, again, continuing to make plays when they need to. How about 95, Max Steege getting his first sack there. And then another, there's the fumble recovery right near the goal line. Huge recovery from Marco Notriani, it looks like, on that one. Well, that was Irby. That was the one with Jeremiah Irby. Notriani had his earlier in the game. But there's a deep pass for Nevada, and they scored the touchdown. I was in the elevator coming down to the field when that happens. That's the first time I've seen this. That was a 36-yard pass with 2:19 to go, but they do the onside kick. Boise State is able to recover, and then Ashton Genty able to go over 200 yards with the run right here. He gets the first down. Boise State goes over 200 yards, and they're able to, I guess this is the one that put him over 200. He was at 199 on the one before that, and then he gets the carry there, and Boise State, best play in sports, able to do the victory formation, and the Broncos hang on. 28-21 is the final for Boise State beating Nevada. And again, wasn't pretty, wasn't perfect, but Boise State able to get the win. They improved to 8-1 on the season. And again, able to continue to stay undefeated and move in the right direction here in terms of Mountain West play. Let's hear from Jeff Choate. Let's start with Choate. Let's start with the Nevada side of things. I will let you, Jaden, get ready to play this here. We're going to go Jeff Choate, the Nevada head coach, speaking with the media after the game.
Your initial thoughts following this one?
Yeah, well, congratulate Boise State. Very good football team, hard-fought game. Coach Danielson and his staff had their guys ready to go, and they played really well. And I don't think that takes anything away from the way our guys played tonight. There's some unfortunate breaks in this game that fell their way. They created some of them, and we gave them some of them, and that's just kind of the way the game goes at times. I think the swing that really stands out to me is, nobody can know what's going to happen. You end up with what we felt like was an interception, and then and the ensuing drive after they end up getting a touchdown, we go down and we turn the ball over on the 1 yard line, and that's a huge swing in this game. And I really felt like that the goal going to this thing was to manage a game and get us into the fourth quarter with a 1-score game and a position to be able to win the game, and we were able to do that. And I'm proud of the way our staff prepared these guys, and I'm really proud of the way they played. We played without Drew Watts, who's out with a shoulder. We played without Savion Red. We played without Patrick Garrow. We played without 56 with Tyson Ruffins, our starting left guard. So we were down a lot of bodies, and for us to come out and play the way we did, there was no excuses. There was no letdown. There was no back down. There was no slow down. Our guys competed really, really well, and I think represented our program and our university in a first-class way tonight.
What did you see on that interception play by Chad, and what were you told after the call?
I saw an interception. They said the ball was moving when he hit the ground, but he had complete control of the ball, in my opinion. But I don't have maybe all the angles they have, and we'll get a closer look at it when we get back to Reno and get a peek at it.
You touched on it, but to go down 14-0 and to battle back and to be right here in this one, a play or two away from potentially taking the lead there in the fourth quarter, what does it just say about the resolve you guys have, knowing on paper you were down a ton of guys? Yeah,
that's kind of the program that I want to build here. Really resilient, really tough. Don't make excuses, just go to work. And we've had some gut-wrenching losses this year against really quality teams, and this was just another one of those. And unfortunately, that's part of the journey that we're on right now. But the fight's never going to be over, and we're going to keep battling.
Genty got loose a little bit early, but then it felt like, in general, he hits 200 yards, but he kind of really had to work for it, did he not?
Yeah, we gave up some leaky runs, and it wasn't like there weren't guys there. He's as advertised. He's a tough tackle, and a really quality human being as well. So I don't think that should be lost on anybody. But I feel like the swing of the game, what they didn't do was they didn't convert explosive plays in the pass game. And I felt like that was a big difference. This is a team that's been blowing people out the last several weeks and was really on a roll. And I feel like we had their attention for 4 quarters.
Yeah, what do you feel like you guys did especially well to kind of limit them based on what they've been doing recently?
I thought we mixed calls. I think we got into maybe a couple of coverages that we haven't run a lot of, and I think we were a little bit more aggressive on first down in our blitz packages.
Probably the last time Nevada comes here with both teams in the same conference.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, what's your kind of thought about these two teams and maybe continuing to have some kind of partnership going forward?
Yeah, that's up to Stephanie and the athletic department. I don't have anything to do with those decisions, yeah. And so, I have, like I said, they got to do what they got to do. I got to worry about Nevada football.
You obviously have a lot of love for this place, though, to come in here as a head coach. What did it feel like to lead a team onto the blue and play a heck of a football game?
Yeah, it felt like I'd coached a football game. It wasn't. It was a great atmosphere. They always do a great job, and there was electric. There was some good juice in that stadium tonight.
Marcus seemed a little hobbled. Can you let us know what happened, or do you know what happened to him?
Yeah, I know he got rolled up on. He came back out and completed the game, and we'll get back to Reno and see what's going on.
Obviously, 2 games left. Maybe a bye week coming at a good time. What's your focus the next 7 to 14 days?
Yeah, hopefully we get some soldiers back and get a little healthier. We've got a very challenging. From a scheme standpoint, we've got a very challenging opponent coming up in Air Force, and it'll be good to be back in Mackey.
What did you tell them after the game?
I was proud of them. I was proud of them, and I was proud of our coaching staff. And that doesn't take the sting of the loss away, but I think, candidly, I think they're probably proud of themselves too. And so, for where we were at to come in here and to compete the way we did, I think that gives me a lot of hope for the future.
You had said you thought Boise might be even underranked at number 12 based on now that you've played a 60-minute football game against them. You mentioned maybe getting their attention. What's your thoughts on what they got going over down that
Yeah,
side?
Hey, here's the deal. Every game takes on a life of its own, all right? And, they turned the ball over, we turned the ball over. It was kind of a little bit of a back and forth in the first half. And What I can tell you is they've got something really good to go to work with on Sunday on their side of the ball, and I'm sure Coach Danielson and his staff will have their attention. I don't anticipate this being a step back for him. If anything, it may be a catalyst for him to play better.
Anything else on that?
There he is,
Good,
Jeff
man.
Choate. Appreciate him for joining us. Thank you to Jaden Finch for going over and getting those comments. Jaden, you can take him and the highlights out of the stream here to unclog it a little bit. But Jeff Choate, Nevada head coach, I think the phrase was unfortunate breaks that he said there. So certainly, they had some plays and classy interview. And, yeah, I thought he said everything that, I didn't think you can tell he's extremely bitter. Kurt says bitter. I don't know if I totally got that. I mean, certainly with the small handshake, we're going to hear that from Spencer and Maddox and Marco Notriani. We will hear from Maddox Madsen, Marco Notriani, Spencer Danielson here in a minute. Again, I'm folks on there are saying I'm kind of a Madsen, apologist or whatever. You don't bench your quarterback when you're ranked in the top 12 in the college football playoff rankings when you're 8-1 and you're undefeated in conference. You just don't do it. So I'm not 100% defending Maddox Madsen and saying he's the best quarterback in the country. He's not. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying you won't find a coach or a team bench the quarterback in the middle of the game when you're winning. It is what it is. I'm not trying to defend Maddox Madsen. I'm just telling you it's crazy for those of you that are trying to say he needs to be benched. Like, you can say it. I mean, you have your opinion. I understand that's fine, but no coach is actually going to bench their starting quarterback when you're, when you're 8-1 and ranked in the top 12 of the college football playoff. You just don't. Will Boise State move up in the rankings? We'll have to see. I mean, I know there's a close game going on with BYU and Utah right now in the fourth quarter, so we'll have to see there what happens with that game. But I certainly think that there could be a chance that if Utah ends up winning this game and BYU loses, well, we're still on the air here. Boise State could be the 4 seed in Tuesday night's rankings. How crazy would that be? I certainly think that is possible. We'll follow this game and see what happens. Let's see what we said here. It's wild. The only coach who would dare did is Saban. Yeah, and he had a 5. Again, I get it. You have a 5-star on the bench. You want him to go in and play. I get it, but he's unproven. He hasn't played yet. He's barely played. And I don't think Maddox Madsen throwing, one interception like that is enough for Dirk Cutter, who, I mean, let's look, guys. Dirk Cutter loves Maddox Madsen. If you haven't been able to tell that by now, I'm sorry. Just watch what's going on. And Dirk Cutter is a huge Maddox Madsen guy. And I don't know. I don't know if Malachi Nelson is in the same spot as, was it Tua or whoever they brought in for Alabama? I don't know if that's necessarily definitely an even comparison at that point. It wasn't 3 interceptions, Gus. It was 1, and then there was another one. Oh, there was one was because of a penalty, I believe. And so that doesn't, the guy he was throwing it to got held and he couldn't catch it. So I'm not sure if, and yes, I did stumble. I said, it's almost like they had a 5-star waiting on the bench. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Malachi Nelson's a 5-star. That's an idiot comment to make. But I would not compare those and say those are exactly the same situation. Alabama bringing a quarterback off the bench or Boise State putting in Malachi Nelson. And again, I'm just telling you, okay, Nick Saban did it. You guys can prove me wrong. Finally, somebody did it. But 99.9% of coaches are not going to rock the boat and make a change at quarterback when statistically Maddox Madsen still has some of the best numbers in the Mountain West Conference from a quarterback standpoint. And they are obviously behind him, and they're just not going to do it at this point. So I understand it, and maybe we should play the Madsen interview now because that's probably a good segue. Maddox Madsen did go 9 of 20, 119 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Obviously did not play good. Played pretty bad, to be honest with you. I'm not going to deny that he played. I'm not going to defend his play today. He did not play good, and it was not good. But I just, coaches are not, it is what it is. The coaches are not going to bench Maddox Madsen when you're ranked 12th in the country and you're 8-1 right now and leading the conference and going towards a playoff appearance. It's just not going to happen. So he balled out last week. I'm not anti-Madsen. I'm just a skeptic, and the media's been shitting on us. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's necessarily fair. I mean, everyone that doesn't like Maddox Madsen, you are 100% entitled to your opinion. If you don't think he's good enough to be playing, that's fine. I'm just telling you the coaches aren't going to bench him. And I don't think he should be benched either, but I'm not going to say my opinion is smarter than yours. If you believe that Maddox Madsen isn't good and you think Malachi Nelson would be better for this team and that they would be 9-0 or doing better than they are right now with Malachi Nelson, if you believe that, then that's your opinion. And I'm not going to say you're wrong. So that's feel free to say that. I'm the one hosting the show right now, and I'm giving you my opinion and my thoughts, and I don't think Maddox Madsen deserves to be benched at this point, nor do I think the coaches are even 1% considering that at this point. Dirk Cutter would laugh like crazy if we went into the press conference on Monday and asked a question about, are you thinking about making a quarterback change? So I think that you just trust the coaches. As Creamy Cold Boise says, Maddox is our best option, plain and simple. And I think you trust the coaches. If they thought, if they, believe it or not, if they thought that Malachi Nelson was the better option, they would play Malachi Nelson. It's just like Dirk Cutter running the ball up the middle every play. I don't like it. I don't understand why they do it, but there's a reason Dirk Cutter is running the ball up the middle every play. He believes it's the best play, the best run for this team. And yes, Maddox Madsen was the player of the week in the Mountain West Conference last week. But again, he had a bad week. He did. But I think he's still on pace for 3,000 plus passing yards, and he's got like 3 or 4 interceptions on the whole season right now. So, again, I'm not here just to defend Maddox Madsen, but I just don't think that he has done enough for the coaching staff to bench him, and I think that would be a little bit of crazy talk at this point. But let's hear from Maddox Madsen. Again, he goes 9 of 20, 119 yards and 1 touchdown. Maddox Madsen is, again, speaking with the media after the game. I do want to thank a couple quick sponsors real quick. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Check them out, shopridleys.com. They got locations all across the state of Idaho, the surrounding states, and again, 40% off if you use the Skip app there. ShopRidleys.com. Find a location near you. Love that Middleton location star as well, and Cuna is probably the best one that I go to the most here in the Treasure Valley. So check them out, ShopRidleys.com. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. Snake River Pool and Spa. Again, whether it's a spa for the back patio, a pool table for the game room, whether it's a sauna, again, they can do it all for you at Snake River Pool and Spa. And Lithia Ford of Boise, the fall kickoff sale is underway. Lithia Ford of Boise, they got 6 football players rocking NIL deals from Lithia Ford of Boise. And you see Jonah Dalmas on the screen there. But again, 4 football players, 6 student athletes. And the fall kickoff sale is still underway. You go to lithiafordboise.com. You're able to, see the various options and test drives and pick the ones you want. And you're on your way in a couple of hours. So Jim Sturk and Company, highly, highly recommend Lithia Ford of Boise for your next car or truck purchase. All right, Maddox Madsen, Boise State starting quarterback. He's speaking with the media, called it his worst game of the season. Let's hear it in his own voice. Here's Maddox Madsen after the game. And not sure why it's not playing there. All right, Jade, maybe take it out and put it back in. Go ahead and remove it from the stage and bring it back in. Jaden's working behind the scenes on this. We'll get Maddox Madsen back in there momentarily. We are going to have Abe Jackson join us remotely from San Francisco in a little bit to talk about the basketball game. But first, we'll have Spencer Danielson. Marco, let's hear from the quarterback, Maddox Madsen.
Maddox wasn't the prettiest game you guys have had this season, but, you survived in advance. How do you look at that one?
Yeah, like you just said, it's not pretty. A win's a win. It's tough. We'll learn and grow from certain things, but like you just said, it wasn't pretty, and there's a lot of areas we can grow in, but at the end of the day, we won the game, and that's all we really matters at this point is winning. Towards the end of the year, it kind of happens like that, but I'm proud of the team. We came out with a win when it's hard.
Turnovers, they muffed the punt, muffed the kick. Just didn't seem like the game we've seen from you guys this year.
Yeah, like you just said, it wasn't pretty, and that's the best way to put it.
What kind of things can you learn from a game like this?
Yeah, you talk about the turnover battle is a big one. We got to keep the ball in our hands, especially when we get late in the year. People are going to try and take possessions away from our offense, and that's something that we can't really do is turn the ball over. So that's one thing, but there's several aspects of the football game that you can learn from each week.
Is there a sort of, I don't know if pride's the right word, but, I don't know what the right word is, but, you guys, it was one of your worst games of the year, but you still came up on top. Is there some kind of consolation in that?
Yeah, the standard's the standard, but we're winning games. That's all that matters.
Does a game like this kind of give you a kick up the backside almost to realize everything's going to be easy?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, winning's hard, And you see games like this all the time. And so we come out with a win. There's nothing to really sulk on. We can learn from certain things, and proud of the team for winning.
I guess just what can you say about your game? I know there was interception, and then there was a couple of other issues. Just I guess what was tough for you out there tonight?
Yeah, this was probably the worst game I've played personally. I'm obviously not happy with it, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and when we win the game, I can sit there and smile and say we won the game.
Ashton had another big game for you. How much did he save you guys tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think the run game's always been a big part of our offense, and you saw it early on when Ashton could be able to do what he does. It helps us immensely, and so it was big time to have Ash. We say a good game, but he's had good games all year. This was just a game that's regular, right? And so that's big time for our offense.
Kind of changed. I mean, you guys won a game on the blue. You don't seem 100% satisfied, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it is we never are. I know for my own sake, my expectations are extremely high for not only myself but our entire offense. And so when we kind of don't live up to those expectations and play games, it's in a bit unfortunate. But, I mean, I can't preach it enough. We sit there and offensively we won the game. Defensively, we won the game. As a team, we won this game. And so how can I be frustrated?
What do you see on that overturned interception?
I honestly didn't really watch it. I just heard offenses back up. So,
just once you guys got a second chance, how important was it to make the most of it? And it really felt like that was a kind of turning point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big-time score. We go score, and then we kind of go down, and I think that's when we got the fumble, too, on theirs. So that's big time. You talk about the turnovers, like I just said, and so at that point to keep the ball in our hands and then kind of get the ball back was huge.
Yeah, Mazek, we talked about the turnovers for you guys, but the defense as well, just some huge plays. Just how big was the defense keeping you in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw it multiple times. Our defense, they come up with big plays when the big plays are needed. And that defense is electric at all times, really. And so when we need the defense steps up.
You feel like you guys got Nevada's best shot tonight? I mean, obviously their coach feels a certain way about your guys' program now, and you guys are rivals. So do you feel like you got Nevada's best shot tonight?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there is hard feelings, I feel like, between the two schools, and then you add in the fact of where we are in our status in college football right now. And so I think that you see, we're going to see everyone's best each week. I know we just mentioned it. We're going to go down to San Jose next week, and we're going to get their best just because we play teams now that really have nothing to lose. And so that's kind of their mindset, and we're going to get everyone's best, 100%. Thank you, guys.
All right, there he is, Maddox Madsen. Again, there's about 2 minutes left in this BYU-Utah game, so we'll keep following this, and obviously this will have major implications here on what happens with Boise State moving forward when it comes to possibly getting a first-round bye. I want to thank, let's hear from Marco Notriani here in just a second, but I want to thank Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, part of the SOM Management Group, the Nicolason family. If you're looking for a job, I highly recommend Taco Bell. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. They are supporting Boise State student-athletes, and again, free food while you work, half the wages after your shift. If you're looking for a job, highly recommend it. And oh yeah, the food's pretty darn good as well. TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. Want to get into the trucking industry? Maybe you never thought of that as a career path for you, but I highly, highly recommend it. Transportation Compliance Service, all the permits, DOT overweight, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Let them help you out at Transportation Compliance Service. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Great gear, great prices, great selection, and I highly recommend the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. And again, all the Ashton Genty NIL gear, all that good stuff, they got it for you at the Blue and Orange Store. We are live on the Idaho Central Credit Union Postgame Show. Jaden Finch is here. My name is BJ Rains, and we're talking to you live after Boise State's 28-21 win over the Nevada Wolfpack, and might be the final game for Boise State and Nevada in this series. We can talk about that a little bit later, but let's talk about the defense. And this defense had a couple turnovers, a huge takeaway at the goal line by Jeremiah Irby. Marco Notriani had a big takeaway as well for Boise State's defense. Ty Benefield, 8 tackles, McCoy with 6, and then Robinson and Notriani with 5. Some bad news, though, as did look like a pretty significant injury to Alexander Tubner. He had a big brace on his knee. He also had the crutches. So, again, we don't want to speculate too much on that, but not not looking good for Alexander Tubner, and that's a huge blow to this defense if he's unable to play here for a while. But he was on the sideline in crutches after the game, and Spencer Danielson said that he had no update yet on his condition. Marco Notriani, again, had a huge fumble recovery, linebacker. Let's hear from Marco Notriani after the game. All right, looks like we got to take it out and bring it back in, Jaden. Not sure what's going on with that. We will bring Marco right back in here. Again, the defense held them to under 300 yards, did some things. I know it's easy to look at some of the passing and things like that, but I thought the defense stepped up when they needed to. That goal line stand was huge, getting that fumble recovery in the fourth quarter. Let's try again. Linebacker Marco Notriani.
Win, but still a win. What do you guys learn from this moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, just like any game, we'll come back in here and watch what we did well, what we didn't do well, and improve off of that. The mentality hasn't changed after a win or after a loss. You celebrate the wins. You look at the losses like Oregon State, and you just learn and grow from them.
You look at what the odds say, how it's supposed to be a blowout, but Navarre's is a rival, and just how big of a fight was it out there for you guys?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was self-inflicted. Just a sloppy game all around, offense, defense, and special teams. So clean that stuff up. In terms of the odds, we don't look at any of that stuff. We knew we were going to get a battle. That's a good team. They played every team they played on their schedule really tough, so we knew it was going to be a grinder, and we came out on top today.
That just happened, I guess. Sometimes just you don't have a perfect game. Sometimes because it just seemed like you mentioned all three phases: the muffed punt, the muffed kick, some of the turnovers. I mean, does that just happen sometimes, and at least you won still?
Yeah, I mean, we always try and limit those as much as possible, be as consistent as possible as a team, and our training and prep has stayed consistent, and it will continue to stay consistent come next week.
I don't want to speculate too much about him, but for the emotional toll when a guy like Tubes goes down, I mean, he means so much to your guys' team, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I just know he continued to lead on the sideline, brought juice on the sideline, coaching guys up on the sideline, which is a testament to who he is, going through something emotional like that. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak any more highly of Tubes than the leader he is. So, again, don't really know what's going on. Praying for the best, so we'll see what happens.
How big was that goal line stop in your fumble recovery?
Yeah, I mean, just in any game, that's huge. They took the ball away a couple times, so did we. So winning that turnover battle is always huge to win a game. So, and especially in goal line like that, situationally, putting them away, and then our offense just going out and run the clock out was huge.
Marco, how do expectations kind of change for you guys? I mean, he's got to win on the blue. You guys are 8-1 on the season, but whether it be you or Maddox, obviously it doesn't feel like you guys are extremely happy, I guess, with the way that it went overall, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we hold each other to a high standard. There's a high standard to play here and to perform and prep here. It's a win. We're happy about the win. We're going to celebrate the win, but we also got a game coming next week. So nothing, like I said earlier, nothing's ever changed. We'll come back in here next week, see what we need to improve on, and just prep the same way we usually do, work the same way we usually do, clean up the mistakes, and we'll be good.
Here you go. Great. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for waiting.
There he is, Marco Notriani. Appreciate him for chatting with the media after the game. How about this Utah? Man, Utah had the game over with on the fourth down stop, and then they called a penalty for defensive holding. And now they're up and out near midfield with about a minute to go. So this could be heartbreak for BYU, and could be heartbreak for Utah, and heartbreak for Boise State fans here if Utah blows this and BYU is able to come get a crazy comeback here. This would be something. So. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm still looking at your comments, your thoughts. Abe Jackson's going to join us and talk basketball here in just a minute or two. I need to get him dialed in. Let's hear from Spencer Danielson, Boise State head coach. We'll keep the football talk going. Spencer Danielson, the head coach, talking with the media, but I do want to tell you about Jackson's. Don't forget, Ahmed Hassanin did not get in the end zone, so you don't get the deal on Monday. But typically on a Monday, 91-cent coffee or fountain drink at Jackson's. And again, that's Ahmed Hassanin getting a sack, 91-cent coffee or fountain drink at Jackson's. And any hot dog you purchase, 25 cents goes to the Horseshoe Collective. Don't forget that. 25 cents of every hot dog sold goes to benefit the Horseshoe Collective. So help them out at Jackson's and the Horseshoe Collective. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Check it out, LeanFeastMeridian.com. 10,000 plus meal combinations at Lean Feast, whether it's chicken, steak, fish, all kinds of diets. They got all the options there. So make sure you check them out, LeanFeastMeridian.com. LeanFeastMeridian.com for all of your different options there. And we're still taking your voicemails. We got a couple voicemails in there. We can play some more. Speakpipe.com/BNN. If you have a thought on the game or the playoff rankings or Genty or Dirk Cutter, Madsen, whatever you got right now on your phone, on your computer, go to speakpipe.com. You can record this voicemail, and we will play it on the show here. We've got a couple to play in a little bit, and we'll get to this one as well. All right, let's hear from Spencer Danielson, Boise State's head coach, meeting with the media after the game.
Well, guys, as always, appreciate your time, and I'll always start out by thanking Jesus for the victory and give him all the glory for how we're pushing forward. And I'm proud of our team, man. That was a hard-fought battle tonight. We knew going in that it was going to be an absolute dogfight. Got a lot of respect for the coaches on the other side of the ball. And, our guys went out and battled. And that's a game, we've talked about it before. I mean, winning those games in November on the blue, away, wherever it is, that's a testament to our players, the work they put in, and that's a hard game to win, And in the past, to be honest, I know I've been a part of games where we lose those games where it's, there's turnovers, we drop a punt, when there's a kickoff return, we drop. Like, there's some things that are just uncharacteristic. We had a personal foul penalty that we haven't had happen yet. So there's a lot of things that are uncharacteristic with us tonight. We got to look at the film and learn and grow from it. But I am so proud of our team finding a way to win that game. And that's a testament to our players, our coaches, sinking in, doing it for each other. And I told our team before, the best teams play hardest because they love each other. It's not because the team they're playing and they don't like him or whatever. In every game, you got different things going on. This team plays hard because they love each other. They don't want to let each other down. They don't want to let their coaches down. Coaches don't want to let their players down. That's this team. And so proud of our team with the victory. Finding a way to win, gritty win for our team, and hats off to them. And as a coaching staff, I'm excited to look at the film and just like we will every single week, find a way to learn and grow. And when we meet with our players on Monday, that's what we're going to do. And we know we're going to get San Jose State's best a week from now. They're playing some really good football on the road, and we got to play our best as well, and we will. And so I'm excited for our guys to continue to look at the film and learn and grow from. We got to have a really good week of practice to earn the right to. But I'm proud of our team. They don't run from hard work. Last week, our guys battled in practice, and especially at this point in the season, everybody's banged up. Had some guys go down tonight. Don't know exactly what's going to happen. Next man up, carry the flag. It's our team. Team, and we got to find a way to continue to learn and grow and compete and play our best football going forward.
What's it do to a team psyche when, like tonight, you don't play your best game, but you still come out with the win?
It's huge. And I talked about it game one of the season against Georgia Southern, where that was a battle all the way really to the end. And our team needed that. And you can't win every game 56-14. And obviously we want to. And as coaches, I'm proud of our team. Started fast, up 14-0, had a turnover and things, and then we had to respond. And we didn't play our best football consistently tonight, but we found a way to win. And that's a testament to our players' train and their mentality. And we will build more from this game because of the hard-fought battle than we would on a blowout. That's just the reality. And that's not just our team. That's across the country. And so I'm so proud of our guys finding a way, battling, coming out with the victory.
Last week about how when Ashton was stopped, Maddox stepped up, and it was almost the opposite this week. Maddox didn't have his best game, but Ashton had 200 yards again. What can you say about his performance tonight?
Yeah, Ashton Genty's a warrior. He's banged up. He takes shot after shot after shot and just keeps swinging, stays in it, trust the coaches, trust his teammates, and finding a way to wear down a defense. Even to start the last drive of the game, first play, we give up a TFL, which is the only thing you don't really want to happen in that drive. Stay in it. Trust our training. Next run, pops for a first down. That's a testament to Ashton, our O-line, our tight ends, our receivers blocking downfield. Once again, there's a lot of things we need to clean up tonight. There were some drops, some misreads by Maddox, the interception, the fumble. there's going to be all that when we watch the film. And as coaches, I promise you we'll be relentless to get it fixed. But I am so proud of this team, so proud of our guys finding a way to win in an environment and a time that in November, this is the compete month. So I told our team, we just stepped into the compete month. What we did prior, it does not matter. It is all about 1-0 each week, and we know we will get everybody's best, but my promise is they will get Boise State Broncos best too.
Championship season, championship team, there's always a game or two like this that could swing the other way. I don't know if there's a reason or if it's just all guys kind of had some rough plays on the same night or what, but just to survive in advance and hope, like you said, you can learn from it. Is that just what you take from it, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, there's a lot of things tonight on film that we did not do well. And from either penalties to missed blocks to missed tackles to missed assignments to not winning my one-on-one, BJ, that's going to be across the film. But as a team, to still find a way to win the game, so proud of our team, and we will build on that. Being able to be in the fourth quarter, dogfight, finding a way to win, that's a testament to our players and their work.
Down there by the goal line, you had Maddox throw it, and then it looked like it got picked off. Did you know they were reviewing it, or when did you find out that they had changed it, and how big of a swing was that then to get another chance and score?
Yeah, because they told me right away they were reviewing it. To be honest, early in my career, I used to try and look up and watch to see my thoughts. I've learned a long time ago to not even look. I'm going to put it in the ref's hands because you never know how that's going to go, and overturn a huge play in the game. We were able to go punch it in for a touchdown.
Did they tell you he was fumbling it as he went out about, or what did they tell you about?
They didn't tell me. They just told me, hey, it was overturned, and it's going to be 3rd and 2 or third and goal from the 2.
We've been talking about how safe Maddox has been with the ball, and a couple of interceptions where it turned over, so it's only one in the stat sheet. But do you know what was tonight where just something wasn't clicking, or I guess why was this tonight so sloppy? I guess.
You show up and play the game. I can promise you his prep and how he was this week was the best he's been to this point. And so, just like anything, it's a game. And you got to learn and grow from what happens. For us, we're going to look at our process. I'm going to continue to find ways in our process, maybe some things we missed. Okay, do we not focus on something enough? That's my job. And it's our players' job then to take the coaching, to learn and grow from it. So with Maddox and every other person on our football team, there's going to be a lot of things when they walk in this film room on Monday that we got to improve. Have to. But being able to find a way to win, and our guys being resilient to know even when you're down, or even when it's a game that it's an absolute battle, tied, going, whatever it is, finding a way to win, trust each other, don't panic, don't go outside of what we want to do as a team, trust it. And so I'm proud of our guys doing that. And once again, we'll look at the film. There's going to be a lot of things on film that Maddox needs to improve on. There's going to be still a lot of things on film that he did well, and that's going to be the same for every single one of our players.
Do you think, Jinty had over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, great numbers, but it came on 34 carries. Do you want to have to rely on 34 carries with your starting running back?
Obviously, I'd love to have 3 touchdowns, 3 carries. I think that's anybody in the country. But for me, we're gonna wear a team down. And if it means 2 yards, 1 yard, TFL, and a lot of those, there's going to be, I promise you, there's going to be a missed block, missed assignment, maybe a missed, that's football. And so whatever it takes for us to find a way to win games, we're going to do. And we got to continue to find ways to make sure we're explosive in our run game. And if it takes 34 carries, we got to protect Ash. But that's him. He's a warrior. He's a fighter. And we're excited to continue to was glad that Breezy was activated tonight. So we're going to continue to have a good week of practice from him, for him to get more run and continue to make sure the rest of those guys are ready to step up, and we need to.
Some timely takeaways for your defense. I want the goal line obviously was huge.
Huge. The fumble on the whatever it was, 2-yard line, huge play in the game. Turnovers in general. And we talk about relentless effort, explosives, and turnovers. We're up 14-0. Things are going our way. Turnover and things change, right? And that's football. You look across the country, that's football. Everything is earned, and you better focus on all those little details to make sure those things don't come up, BJ, because, yes, it was a huge play for us, no different than the turnovers that we gave away were huge plays for them. So it's the game, and there's going to be a lot of things we need to look at and improve in. But once again, I keep coming back, I'm really proud of our team. And I know, and the type of competitors, the relentless team we have here, they can't wait to watch the film. Even that locker room, we celebrated this win, but everybody's looking at each other saying, Coach, we got to be better. We will. That's the motivation, that you don't need to lose a game to have that fire to come in here and improve. And that's what I'm really proud of our team.
How would you assess Matt Lauder's game on the passing side?
Yeah, without looking, I think Matt did some good stuff. I know there's going to be some things we look at on film. He had a couple huge plays early in the game, right? But I know he's a matchup nightmare, and I know there's going to be some things on film that he's going to want to improve on. But Matt Lauder's playing really good football right now.
I'm sure it was an emotional toll losing Tubner, but Marco was telling us, just now he was on the sideline, coaching up, cheering, just how much when he's able to do that, how much does that kind of reduce that emotional toll?
Yeah, I mean, Tubes is blue collar. He's the heartbeat of our team, and especially on defense. And so losing him, not only for his play on the field was a huge part, but his leadership. But it's happened before because of targeting calls, and we've been through it again. And so even him with a brace on and some different stuff, and we'll see what the injury is. We'll walk through that tomorrow. But him, his leadership, who he was on the sideline, him keeping our guys in it, adjustments when guys came to the sideline, that's who he is. He's a relentless competitor, and he loves his team. And that's what Boise State football is built on. Blue-collar guys that love their team, and it's not about me.
On that note, what was kind of Marco bring for you guys? I mean, he gets the fake punt last week, gets a turnover this week. What's kind of Marco bring in terms of those almost Tubner-like intangibles?
I mean, that's Marco, Jay. I mean, this guy, how he preps, he's one of the best I've ever been around, and how he preps himself to play a game. He's got multiple colored pens. So how he takes notes, how he underlines things, how he highlights them, so he could not only take notes in meetings, go home and read those notes, make sure he's down. Coaching him last year as a linebacker, you can tell him something on Tuesday in a meeting, and he will do it in the game because of how he preps, how he loves his team, and that's Marco. And so if it's special teams or defense, he is so prepared and ready for those big moments. So when they happen, he's earned them, and that's our team. And we need more guys that continue to grow and how they do it to be like a Marco at Tubes. And it's cool to see our guys continue to grow even in those things, because no different. We just played 9 games. We have to grow to play our best game number 10. And that's going to be in our process. That's going to be in our practice. That's going to be how we live in the training room. We got, just like everybody in the country, we got guys beat up. And that's when you play 10 tough, hard-fought games. That's what it's going to be. And so, I mean, Marco, I cannot say enough good things about him because of his actions and how much he loves this team. And he earns everything he gets by how he works.
Their post game, was there anything to that? Or?
It was pretty quick. One of the quicker ones I've had. Thanks, guys.
And there it is. It was pretty quick. One of the quickest ones I've had in terms of the handshake there from Spencer Danielson. And Chris R., we can hope BJ's team can knock them down next week. Yeah, all you folks can now root for my Kansas Jayhawks next week against BYU now that BYU miraculously again. I don't know if there's a luckier team in college football. There probably is, but man, it seems like BYU is on the right end of a lot of these. Should have lost earlier this season to Oklahoma State at home, and then now they're sacked and the game is over on 4th down, but they call a holding call, and all of a sudden a defensive holding keeps the drive alive, and they go 100 yards or whatever it is all the way down and score and win the game. So by the way, not to make it feel any worse, for you Boise State fans, I'm sending Abe Jackson the link right here, by the way, so we can get him to come on and talk some basketball in a minute. But more fun things that I'm sure you guys want to talk about. But that was Will Farron, a former Boise State kicker, that made that field goal. Will Farron, a former Boise State kicker, transferred to BYU with Papinga, the assistant coach there, when he went there. And next thing you know, he makes the game-winning field goal there. So we are all Jayhawks now, Creamy Cold Boise said. I'm telling you, I think there's a chance. We beat Iowa State today. We played pretty well. I think there's a chance. I know a night game at BYU is certainly tough to win and play, but I think there is a chance that Boise State, that Kansas could give them a game. We got a couple voicemails. We're going to get back to the football talk in a little bit. Yes, they did handle Iowa State. I can't wait to watch some of that game later tonight after I get done working. I still got a football story to write, a basketball story to write. We got a ton going on here on the post-game show. But again, our title sponsor, roepaint.com, ROE paint.com. Check them out. All your painting needs. the best in the business is rowpaint.com. And of course, we're coming to you from the Western Collective Studios. Make sure you pick up that Horseshoe Golden Ale and that Orange Chaos Seltzer next time you're at Albertson Stadium. And again, a portion of the proceeds of each sale goes to benefit the student athletes at Boise State. We'll get back to the football talk in a minute, but unfortunately there was another, if people are down about the not winning by as many points, or if they're down about whatever, well, at least Boise State football won. The basketball team unable to be able to say the same thing. And our man Abe Jackson joins us live from his hotel room in San Francisco. Abe was on the call tonight, solo call. I got back to my car and listened to the last about 2 minutes, Abe, and then the whole post-game show. I've actually got the audio of a couple of Leon's answers here that I'm not sure contractually or what we're allowed to do, if I can play that or not, if we give proper credit. But I listened to your Leon interview and taped that. Boise State basketball falling, Abe, 84-73. We got the stats on the screen here to San Francisco. Just a weird game. I was trying to follow it from the press box. They were down the whole first half, couldn't really get a flow, momentum going. They're down second half, finally take the lead, and then it just kind of falls apart. For folks that were watching the football game and didn't really see this one, give us the recap here.
Well, you did a pretty good job there, BJ, with it. It was rough go for the Broncos up until about the 12-minute mark of the second half, and then they had two big plays. A three-pointer from R.J. Keene that tied it up, and then Tyson Degenhard drove into the paint, got fouled, and got the and one, made the free throw, and then they went up 3. From that point on, at about the 12-minute mark, San Francisco made 13 out of their next 14 field goals. Some of them were, back cuts or cuts through the paint that were layups, but others were really challenged, tough, difficult shots. I think so. Part of it was that San Francisco got really hot at the right time, and Boise State, so a little bit of foul trouble with Cardenas in the first half. Flow on the offense in the second half looked fine. They were getting open shots, but they weren't falling. San Francisco, they had a 7-footer inside who only had 2 blocks on the stat sheet, but I think affected maybe 6 or 7 shots in the paint. And so it was a perfect combo of the Broncos got cold and San Francisco got really hot, making 13 out of 14 field goals. And you can see the final score.
Creamy Cold Boise saying, I was watching both. The Dons went wild from the floor. Tyson Berman is wanting to know why Anderson's minutes were so low.
Why Dylan Anderson's minutes were so low? I mean, you can kind of look at the stats. I mean, I'm sure that the coaching staff looked at it and said that I think I like our matchup a little bit better if you have someone maybe like an Omar Stanley inside battling against the guys from San Francisco. There was a lot of offensive rebounds. And so if you need some defensive rebounds, there's probably no one better to have in there than Omar Stanley.
Yeah.
I know that BJ, I got to say, man, I was seeing some of these chats coming through on here. It's got to be rough for you reading through some of that stuff. Man, they are wild. Someone said it's a bad week to be a Bronco, but at least a football team won or something like that. It's always good to be a Bronco. You're not going to win everything, man. We're 2 games into the basketball season. They had a great win at home. They had a tough win on the road, and it's yet to be determined. Is this a bad loss? San Francisco looks really, really good. I mean, they had guys who were knocking down tough shots. They have a senior guard. They had a guard that was the WCC freshman of the year last year who's really good as well. And they got some good forwards and centers. So it's yet to be determined if this is a bad loss. And I understand that it's disappointing that there was so much hype for this team, especially after that Oakland game. We're 2 games in. I mean, we're 2 games in of about a 33-game season. So let's just kind of keep it in perspective. Corbin's coming to town, which should be a win next week. And then next Sunday is Clemson in Boise.
I get through it with the good old Horseshoe Golden Ale beverage, Abe Jackson. So
sometimes you need some. I would think you'd need something stronger than that sometimes reading over those things.
Yeah, but no, I it is how it is, Abe. You're well aware, fans in this town. And we did,
Sure.
I will say this, like on the post-game show, we said, like, this team seems different. It looked a lot different on Wednesday. And we said on the pregame show, like, if you really want to be the team and be deserving of all this hype, like, this is a game you got to go find a way to win.
Right.
And they not go win, they lose by double digits. Again, it was a road. And tell us about the environment. It's a small gym, but it looked like they were making some noise, and the crowd was feeding off that. And they were 14-1 at home last season. So, I mean, they have a pretty good home record. But just why did it not look anything like the team we saw on Wednesday?
Well, I think the first thing is that I think San Francisco would probably beat Oakland by 15 to 20 points. They're a much better team. And it was on the road. There's not a lot of teams in the country that are going to a top 100 team playing a true road game at this point in the season. And I think the coaching staff did that on purpose. They knew that they were going to have a high quality team this year, and they scheduled so. And the Broncos didn't get a win. And it was a win that would have helped, and I think would help them down the road, because San Francisco is not going to be a pushover in the WCC. I think they're going to have a couple all-conference players when it's all said and done. So San Francisco was much better than Oakland. Do I think that the Broncos played that well? Not really. I mean, I don't think you should lose to San Francisco by double digits like they did, but second game of the season, and I know that people don't like to hear it, but because they hear it all the time, but they're going to watch video. They're going to get better. They're going to see where they messed up. Cardenas having 2 fouls early in that first half didn't help. Taking a veteran off the court in your first road game and limiting his minutes. So there's going to be some things that they take away from this game, and they'll get back on track. Every year in basketball, there's so many games in basketball. So every year there's 1, 2, maybe 3 games that you just scratch your head and you say, should have had that one. Maybe this one goes in that column.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Tyson Degenhart, 25 points, 7 rebounds for him in 38 minutes. He was obviously a bright spot, but again, Omar Stanley, only 6 points, 2 rebounds. I know he was in some foul trouble. Looks like he had 4 fouls here. You mentioned Meadow and Cardenas, both getting into double figures as well. But again, I look no further than Stanley, 6 points, Dylan Anderson, 4 points. Hard to win a game when that's happening. And Javen Buchanan did have 10 points in 27 minutes, but did foul out in this game. I was watching it was right late in the game. We were waiting for the interviews, I guess, but they made that run. RJ Keene hit a 3-pointer, and it tied the game at that point. And then Boise State takes the lead. But you mentioned them hitting 14 of their next 15 or whatever it was from the field and just changing the game. I mean, Boise State, I thought had some good shots just during that stretch, just couldn't get them to fall. Boise State only 3 of 16 for the game from 3-point range. I know Leon pointed to the rebounding on the postgame show, but it just seems like they shot, 53%? Boise State shoots 40, and Boise State couldn't really buy an outside shot, and San Francisco was hot, and they had the home crowd, and sometimes that happens.
Sometimes it does happen. And what I'll say about Boise State's offense is that you still scored 73 points, which is a good amount in college basketball. And they were running their offense well. On the streak where San Francisco only missed 1 attempt, it was either 13 to 14 or 14 to 15, some ridiculous number that they went on. Boise State was getting good looks. They got Cardenas in the corner for an open 3, Degenhart up top at the top of the three-point line for an open 3. They had a couple looks in the paint that just rattled around and didn't go. The offense was there. The looks were there. The ball wasn't falling. Sometimes that happens. But you also, when that happens, you hope that the other team doesn't shoot over 90% for that same stretch where you can't get a bucket.
And again, I know Leon mentioned it, but let's see what the final numbers here. But Chris Lockett came in, had 2 turnovers in 3 minutes. Bowie came in, had a turnover in 7 minutes. And I thought when Cardenas went out, especially early in the second half there, at one point they gave him a breather, I think. And it just seemed like, I know they're really high on Lockett. They're high on Bowie. But at least in the game tonight, I thought that they both struggled, had some bad turnovers, and led to some buckets the other way.
Well, I mean, it's learning experience for freshmen, right? I mean, you have 2 freshmen there. One's a true freshman in Bowie, and one's a redshirt freshman who's still just seeing his first minutes this year. So I don't know, a grain of salt. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. It's not a win. It's a loss on the loss column. But you do have some things you can take away from it. And as much as people don't like hearing about a learning experience, it's going to be for those young kids. And every player has to go through it. And this is one of those that they're going to watch the film. They're going to break down. They're even going to just take the emotional feeling of that environment, of a college basketball environment, and take that back and make them a better player for it. So second game of the season, tough loss. Not quite how the Broncos wanted it to go, of course, but a lot of games left. And Corbin, of course, should be a win next week, I believe, on Tuesday. And then Clemson with another good basketball team coming into Boise.
And San Francisco is 76 right now at Ken Palm. So I know the net is what they use, not Ken Palm. But, I mean, that's essentially a quad right on the border between being a quad 1 and a quad 2 game. So you're essentially talking right now, basically, it's a quad 1 loss.
I think so. And last year they only lost one home game all year long. So they really know how to defend that little court. There's just over 3,000 people is what it holds. But they can get really loud. I mean, you put them in a compact little place, and it was a nice home court advantage. So I think San Francisco is going to be a good team. Now, where they rank out in WCC, of course, Gonzaga is probably the cream of the crop in that conference. But after that, I think it's a little coin flip. Usually at St. Mary's, they had a bunch of guys transfer out over to some other programs. So who knows really how good they'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if you see San Francisco in the top 3 of the WCC when it's all said and done.
A couple more quick ones for you, Abe. I mentioned Omar Stanley, only 6 points. He did have the 4 fouls. He only played 20 minutes in this game, but was it just foul trouble that limited Stanley? I mean, when you see 6 points, 2 rebounds, it's pretty hard for Boise State to win when you get that kind of stat line from Stanley.
Yeah, he really didn't find a flow. The 7-footer from San Francisco, there was a couple times in the second half where I think Stanley got the ball inside. And I mean, when you got a 7-footer with a giant wingspan looming around in the key, it'll make you think twice sometimes about going up. And he just couldn't find a flow. And the defense from San Francisco was pretty tough. They played a trapping zone sometimes and also a trapping man, which, when you throw a quick trap out of nowhere on somebody, all of a sudden the offensive player gets the ball over their head and it's immediately advantage defense. So taking all that into consideration, I think that's why it was a little bit of a tough night for the Broncos and also Stanley.
Now, I know you're obviously wearing your Boise State, apparel there on your jacket. You're a former player. You're employed to do the games on the radio. But I think you are pretty fair when it comes to what you're seeing out there. You're gonna obviously be a little slighted towards the positive side, but you're not afraid, I don't think, when it's bad to say it's bad or whatever. In your opinion, for folks that didn't watch the game or weren't there, and I guess just big picture after 2 games, does this loss, does the way they played, does the way they look give you any pause, any second thoughts, anything to change your thoughts about this team based on what we thought in the first game?
Other than just a check in the loss column, there really isn't. Now, if this would have happened, this type of performance happened maybe 14, 15 games into the season, then you think, okay, there was enough time for this not to happen. But one thing that I know about this coaching staff and also the seniors on this team is that they bounce back and they adjust extremely well. So this gives me no concern. It's been a while since the Broncos have been out rebounded like that. I will say that. But it doesn't really give me any concern. 2 games into the season, first road game, you get beat by a good team, probably more than you should have or even lost. But no, I think we're going to take a look back on this one and say maybe it was kind of like, I think it was North Dakota State. That was either last year or a couple of years ago, the home loss by 3. Everyone thought the sky was falling, and it turned out to be an NCAA tournament team. So I still feel really, really good about this team.
Well, Abe, we appreciate you. It's a late night there. I think you got an early flight tomorrow. It was a fun night trying to follow both, and then it turned out to not so fun night when the soccer team lost the Mountain West Championship game, and then Boise State basketball. It just you thought when they got that lead, you thought, okay, they're finally back, but it just changed pretty quickly there midway through the second half. And you're right, Corbin on Tuesday, and then obviously a huge game Sunday against Clemson before heading out of town for the tournament. So Abe, thanks for staying up and doing this. Appreciate it. I can't, the 2 minutes I heard, man, great job by yourself. That was I can't imagine what that's like, trying to do all the analysis and the play-by-play and getting your little cards in with the reads and all that. But you did a great job from what I heard, and I can say at least for the next 2 games, you're going to have Bob back with you.
Right, I'm looking forward to it. It's quite a bit more talking than my regular commentary job, but it was a good time.
Well, go have another bourbon or something and relax. And we appreciate you, Abe, for coming on. Great job as always, and looking forward to this. And we'll talk to you on the pregame show against Corbin.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, BJ.
Tremendous stuff. Great job, Abe Jackson. Appreciate him for joining us. He's the best in the business, does a tremendous job. He's a pro's pro, and had to call the game by himself tonight, and I can't imagine how tough that would be or must be. So kudos to Abe Jackson and for him jumping on. Let's hear a brief comment from Leon Rice. This is courtesy of 670 KBOI. We listened to his post-game interview, and here is Abe Jackson and Leon Rice on the post-game show.
They have a unique offense, and they get spread out, and really spread out, and I think they took advantage of beating us to the ball. And They got some quick guys, and it seemed like they were just a little bit quicker to the ball, especially in the first half. And then we responded and took the lead, and then they, Newberry just went whack, 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 and there was 3 threes right away, or 2 and 2 threes. And this team, they're an explosive team with a lot of veterans. I mean, like we talked about before the game, we played Marcus Williams at 3 different schools now, and he's a really good player, and he made big, big shots for him down the stretch. And I think Thomas was a huge. I mean, he gets to the free throw line a lot, knows how to draw fouls, and he was finishing against our size really well. So their quickness took advantage of our size just a little bit, but it was a mindset. That's always a mindset. And I thought Tyson was terrific tonight. It hurt us having Al have to sit some minutes in the first half. It hurt our ball movement. And then the young guys that we subbed in went turnover. They got to come in and be able to run but they're freshmen, and this is their second game, and it was a big game. San Francisco's been talking about this game, and we know that because we know them well. And probably in their preseason, this is their best home game, and they're a good team. Like I said, they got a lot of good cards, and they added some good size, and they protect the rim really well. So I think this is a good basketball team we played tonight, and you got to give them a lot of props. But we're always focused on us and the things we can do better. And there's a lot of good things that we're doing. But tonight too, we go 3 for 16 from 3, and that was a crucial stretch of the game when we went up 3. It seemed like we missed 3 wide open threes.
I felt like in that stretch, when they at one point hit 13 out of 14 field goals.
Yeah.
It was after you guys took a 3-point lead.
Yeah.
They hit 13 out of 14 field goals. I felt the offense was actually clicking okay. You were getting looks for Tyson. Al had a 3 in the corner. You had some shots inside.
Andrew had it in and out.
That Lingard's length may be affected. So did the offense feel like it was rolling okay? But the percentages don't show it?
Not great, especially the first half, because I think we were just logged in. We didn't move the ball very good, but and I think that's part of that is a product of Alvaro being out a little bit of the first half and having to manage his foul trouble. But those freshmen, these are growing up games, and they're good players. Julian's a really good player. And Lockett's going to be a good player, but right now they're turning the ball over, and they got to have some swagger to them when they come in, because they are. Julian's a great player, and both of them are going to be great players here. They just got to fight through this right now and have some swagger to them when they come in. Not can't look like freshmen when you come in the game on the road, especially.
Yep. Tough environment for the first road game. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming out here. We'll see you next week for a home game against Corbin. Back in Boise, and we'll go get the next one.
Yeah, we got another tough week coming up. We got to respond to this. We got to get better about a lot of things. And we play on Tuesday, and then we got Clemson coming in on Sunday. So, Clemson's a heck of a basketball team, and we need people to come out for Corbin, support these guys, get them. That's the mark of a great program, is when you have these games, because on a game like this, you hope to get a great atmosphere so your young guys get some good experience. That's why you do that, and we need it to be a great home court Tuesday night, and get some things cleaned up and get take another step forward. It's early in the season.
A lot of games.
Yeah,
so many games.
There's not many teams that are willing to go out on the road this time of year. We went out on the road to what I think is a really good basketball team who, with a lot of, especially veteran guards, and that makes for tough sledding.
There he is, Leon Rice. That's the post-game show, and that is courtesy of 670 KBOI, the Bronco Radio Network from Learfield, and that was recorded in my car heading home from the game, so apologize for the audio not being perfect there, but at least you could hear a little bit of Leon Rice as he talked after the game with Abe Jackson about the loss to San Francisco. All right, let's get back to the football talk a little bit. I thought I saw Johnny Mallory pop in there, Jaden. I don't know if he did or if he did it by mistake. I don't know if Johnny's trying to come on the show and join us or not. But again, my name is BJ Rains. This is the ICCU, the Idaho Central Credit Union postgame show, talking Boise State football, Boise State basketball. Unfortunately, the soccer team, we mentioned them on the pregame show. We had Jim Thomas on yesterday. The Boise State soccer team falls tonight in their championship game to Utah State. So have to wait and see if they get an at-large bid. I'm not sure if they will or not, but obviously that's a tough one for the soccer team, losing in the championship game of the Mountain West tournament to Utah State. So sorry about to the soccer team, and great season for them. Don't forget the women's basketball team. They've got a game tomorrow at 2:00. They're playing Colorado, who's made the Sweet 16 the last 2 years, Colorado. So if you're looking for something to do with the family tomorrow, head on out to Extra Mile Arena, and the Colorado Buffaloes, two-time Sweet 16 participant, they are coming to town tomorrow to face the women's team. But back to the football talk. We got some of your voicemails. Again, keep your comments coming. Keep your thoughts coming. I've still got 2 stories to write, but I got I'm awake. I don't need to go to bed for any time soon. So you guys want to keep talking football, keep talking basketball, whatever you got. We'll keep the show going here on Bronco Nation News. We do have a couple of voicemails. Again, if you have a voicemail, you can get that into the Signature Roofing voicemail line, and we'll get that going. Let's go to Bob. This is Bob on the Signature Roofing voicemail line.
Thoughts on game. Boise State, very sloppy. Madsen was not sharp. The fumbles on kickoffs was unacceptable. Genty was still amazing. And we persevered, left-hand column, and on to the next game. Out the shoe.
There he is. Bob is out. We appreciate his comment there. And let's go to Everest. Everest, you're next up, and then we'll discuss both of these. I think they had a similar tone. Here is Everest in his voicemail on the Signature Roofing voicemail line. Again, you can leave yours, speakpipe.com/BNN.
I wanted to say that I think Boise State played okay. They played well enough to win, but there's some things that are desired, some turnovers that looked a little rough, but honestly, it's just good to get out of November, or just good to get out of this Nevada game with a win. So I just remember when I was a kid and I grew up and we lost that Nevada game in Nevada, and that was a really rough time. But it's been good so far this year. Just keep the faith. They'll make adjustments as they need to, and it'll be good. San Jose will be good.
There it is. We appreciate Everest and appreciate Bob for their voicemails in the Signature Roofing voicemail inbox. And again, Jaden is ready for a few more minutes to take yours if you want to jump in with a comment or thought on this game. As we hit the 90-minute mark on the post-game show, we're at 1,266 viewers. We still got 126 of you at 12:30 in the morning watching on YouTube Live. I know a lot of folks are watching this on Sunday on tape delay. They're having breakfast and turning it on the next morning. I get a lot of people that say they watch it Sunday morning or later in the day on Sunday or even on Monday. So you guys that are watching it on tape, we appreciate you as well. But we got some other comments coming in here again. 28-21, and it's kind of a mixed bag. They didn't play very well, but again, you'd much rather talk about them not playing very well but still winning the game than not playing very well and losing and now being on the outside looking into the playoffs. So would have had a great shot at that 4 seed BYU. I still think they're one of the luckiest teams I've seen in a while. I don't think they're going to run the table. Somebody's going to beat them. Maybe it's my Jayhawks next week. We'll see. That's a late 8:15 game, so you can watch Boise State beat San Jose and then switch over at 8:15 and watch Kansas play BYU. So we'll give it our best shot next week. We'll do what we can, and we need to have something, Jaden. I think if my Jayhawks take down BYU next week, we need to make people up their subscription $10 or something. We got to figure out some way to. You guys got to return the favor here if Kansas gets it done for you next week. But that was a crazy game. You had the penalty on 4th down, and then BYU comes all the way down and scores and wins the game on the field goal there. So props to BYU. Nice win, and they stay undefeated. And Boise State would have had a real shot at that 4 seed if BYU had lost. I think you might have seen Boise State be the 4 seed on Tuesday's rankings, but a loss, unless they're probably still going to be 12. I'd have to look and see who else lost. If anybody that was 10 or 11 would move up from them, I don't know. I don't think somebody else will move in front of them. We'll have to wait and see from that standpoint. I don't think somebody would I don't think Boise State can jump anybody at this point. They're probably destined for that 12 seed again next week. But again, a lot of things can happen. A lot of games still to be played here moving forward, and we'll see moving forward here. The refs really didn't need to throw the flag. I don't know if that. I have to go back and see it again. I don't know if that's definitely a flag or not. But certainly benefited BYU at that point. Madsen, good at reading Genty impacted plays. One of fair scrimmage struggles with predicting when where receiver uncovering happens, in my opinion. A little confusing to read that there, to be honest with you. When where the receiver, let's see. Some games are just about holding on. Look at Miami. Yep, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't great. Would you have loved a statement, 30-point, 40-point win to impress the committee? Yes. Is the committee going to drop them to 13 or 14? Is one of those teams from the SEC going to pass them? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Kansas is the best 3-win team I've ever seen. I am right there with you. We've literally had the lead in the fourth quarter of every game we've played in this year. So we very easily could be undefeated or 8-1 or whatever our record is. I mean, it is crazy. And we're finally got our mojo back, playing better. So we'll see. Ole Miss will move up, Tyler says. So, we'll have to see there what happens with Ole Miss, what they do with Georgia. Do they put Ole Miss in front of Boise State now, and Boise State drops down to 13? That'll be interesting. Wichita State or Washington State winning helps big, as does Oregon. Boise State staying at 12 at worst, maybe moving up, according to Bronco Blameyer. Appreciate you for watching, Bronco. Let's see. You haven't watched BYU very much if you think they're a lucky team. I guess I just go back over the years too. I mean, they very easily were down and could have lost to Oklahoma State earlier this year, and it just feels like a lot of times there's a close play, or a close game that kind of goes their way, and they kind of seem like a team of destiny right now this year. So we'll see. No, I have not watched every play that they've made. They're a very good team. I'm not trying to diminish them, Jeff. They're a very good team. They've just had some fortunate things go their way this year. BYU has scraped by. They won't be dropped. Genty brings eyes. I could see that. And again, Ashton Genty, much more Ashton Genty like tonight. He had 209 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaged 6.1 yards per carry. So again, didn't have the long highlight touchdown runs, but did have 200 plus yards, and overall I think had a pretty nice game for him. And it's crazy. You think, it's a good game. I wouldn't say it was like an amazing game, but 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. Yeah, it was a pretty good game for Ashton Genty. So just crazy where the bar is now set for someone like Ashton Genty. We mentioned it earlier. Grant Teton saying Boise State, BYU in the playoffs. Have a feeling. Wouldn't that be awesome if Boise State and BYU matched up in the playoffs? I still think that BYU is going to lose a game at some point. So keep an eye on that. Alexander Tubner, the injury does not look good to Tubner. I mentioned this earlier in the show. If you came in late, we saw him on the sidelines after the game, crutches, a knee brace, didn't look good. So, say a prayer for Alexander Tubner. Hopefully the medical tests and everything come back where it's not as bad. Spencer Danielson did not, so they did not know the extent of it right now, but obviously you're in a brace and crutches on the sideline. You're probably out a little bit of time. So, hopefully it's not for the season. Hopefully it's short, but obviously not good news. Alexander Tubner being out for Boise State at this point, and looking like he's probably going to be out at least for the near future here moving forward. So again, Boise State sneaks by. That's their 7th win in a row. Jeff Choate had this team ready to play, and they were ready to go. And it wasn't great. The fumbled kick, the fumbled punt, the fumbled kick. I mean, I mentioned it earlier in the game. That was really, really close to being a game changer. the opening play of the third quarter, and Dylan Riley fumbles the kick. And next thing you know, I mean, that ball is just rolling around on the floor. And if Nevada picks that up, they've got a chance to score and take the lead right there. I mean, and they got lucky that the ball rolled out of bounds, and Boise State was able to keep it at that point in the game. But certainly that was a big swing where Dylan Riley fumbled the kickoff, but Boise State was able to get it back. Talking about Tubner, big piece of the defense, bummer. The knee looked like it bent inward on TV, really didn't look good. I'm not going to speculate on what the injury might be, but yeah, it didn't look great. Yes, Genty averaged 7 yards a carry. I think the final number was 6.1. So actually about 6 yards a carry in this game tonight, 6.1. Let's see. A lot of comments about BYU. Let's spin this forward here. Again, San Jose State is up next. They beat Oregon State. They've got wins over Wyoming, Nevada, Kennesaw State, Air Force, and Sacramento State. So you look at their record, they're 6-3 overall. They are 3-2 in conference. Their quarterback threw for 395 yards today, and they beat Oregon State 24-13. But they did lose badly to Fresno State. They lost by 2 in that game to Washington State earlier this season. So they're a solid team, I think. I mean, their losses are to Fresno State, by 7 to Colorado State, and by 2 in double overtime or whatever it was to Washington State. They don't have a lot of good wins, but they don't have what I would say is bad losses either. So very interesting game going on the road. It's going to be a different atmosphere, not much of a crowd. It's a very older, crappier stadium, just being honest. And so there's not a lot of energy. You got to bring your own juice, as they say. So, Grant Teton says, I'm worried about or nervous about San Jose and Wyoming. San Jose, one of those teams Boise has weird games with. Wyoming looks good with their new quarterback. Yeah, I mean, it is I hate to say it, but I mean, a quote-unquote trap game. I know there's only 3 games left. You wouldn't think that would be the case, but again, this is a team that's not that bad, 6-3 on the season, and they just got to win today to get a bowl game. They just won at Oregon State, and so they're feeling pretty good about themselves. They've won 2 of their last 3 games, but they have alternated win-loss, 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 win, going back to their win over Kennesaw State back in mid-September. So they've gone win-loss, 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 win. You would think that if the trend continues, it'd be a loss against Boise State. But we'll find out what that point spread is. I'm guessing it probably opens about Boise State minus 14, maybe on the road, 13, 14. I don't know what you guys think the spread might open at. But again, it's a 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Pacific Time game for Boise State and San Jose State. And at this point of your Boise State, you got 3 games left. You got San Jose and Wyoming on the road, and then you finish up with Oregon State at home. All 3 of those games on paper should be pretty big mismatches at this point. Jeff says going to San Jose always scares me. Something about that place we don't like. Not sure what it is. I think this could be a little bit of a scary game. I'm guessing, like I said, the spread is 14. We'll find out what it is tomorrow morning. But again, as I said, all 3 games left, you're going to be big favorites in, probably double-digit favorites in all 3 games. And so this is all about taking care of business. You got your scare out of the way tonight. You didn't play great. You had a couple turnovers on offense, a couple near disasters on special teams, but you were able to find a way to win the game and survive in advance and move on. You didn't get the style points. It maybe would have been nice, but you got 3 games left, 2 of them on the road. And again, you take care of business. You're going to be hosting that Mountain West Championship game. Big game next week is Fresno and Colorado State, I believe, or maybe that's in 2 weeks. But I know Fresno and Colorado State is going to be a big game to see what happens there. I didn't see the final number. I believe they probably came back and won. Did UNLV win? Yes, they did. UNLV. I'm looking on the wrong team here. So Hawaii played UNLV today, and it looks like Hawaii lost. They did 29-27. So UNLV was losing, and UNLV was able to come back, and they were able to hang on. UNLV beats Hawaii on the Islands 29-27. So UNLV stays with 1 conference loss, but Colorado State controls their own destiny. They've got 3 games left at this point, and I believe that game, if I look it up here, is next week. Is Colorado State, is going to Fresno next week, and that's an 8:30 game. So right after Boise State plays San Jose on CBS Sports Network, they'll have Colorado State at Fresno going on there during that Kansas BYU game as well. So a huge game for Colorado State, because if they can find a way to beat Fresno, they'll be in the driver's seat for the Mountain West. They'll clinch it, because they play UCLA in their last game, I believe. Who am I looking at here? I'm looking at Fresno. I'm looking at the wrong team. So if I click on Colorado State, let's go back to this side. Colorado State is got Wyoming this week. I'm sorry, guys. I'm off on my timing here. I'm looking at the wrong week. Colorado State plays Wyoming on Friday. Friday night, Colorado State plays Wyoming. And then the following week, they're at Fresno. So they're at Fresno on the 23rd at 8:30, and then they have Utah State to finish up the season. So the big game is in 2 weeks, so I apologize for that. But they have won 4 in a row. They're undefeated in conference, and certainly Colorado State has a chance, if they go to Fresno and win in a couple weeks, to be the representative in the Mountain West Championship game against Boise State. So a lot of stuff still to be determined. But again, all that it really comes down to is Boise State taking care of their business and winning games. And yeah, style points would be nice, but I'm not sure you necessarily need a ton of those at this point. Again, the couple of final stats: Ashton Genty, 34 carries, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns. We mentioned Maddox Madsen. He did have 8 carries for 58 yards, by the way. Did some things with his legs, but the passing, 9 for 20, only 119 yards and a touchdown. Did have that interception and a couple other near interceptions as well. But again, in the passing game, only 3 players caught passes, and only 2 of those were wide receivers. Matt Lauder, 5 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Cam Camper, 2 catches for 46 yards. No catches for Austin Bolt. No catches for Prince Strawn. No catches for Chase Penry. No catches for Latrell Caples. So they really didn't get much at all going in the passing game for many of those other guys. And again, only had 393 yards, but were able to overcome some of that thanks to the defense getting a couple of big turnovers, including that turnover there at the goal line. So again, Boise State wasn't pretty, got the win, and they improved to 8-1 overall. They remain undefeated in conference play, and now they'll get set to correct some things and get ready to go on the road for a couple of games starting next Saturday at San Jose State. So some folks were asking about Riddle and Bedell. They're down in Texas visiting Rid's daughter. And again, we appreciate Jaden Finch for helping us out. Long day for him, but great work and getting a lot of the videos behind the scenes and things. And so hope you enjoyed the pregame and the postgame. Big thanks to Jaden Finch for that. If you missed any of the interviews, if you came on late, we got Spencer Danielson, Marco Notriani, and Maddox Madsen. Those are up on the YouTube channel. We've got Jeff Choate up on the YouTube channel as well. And then you just heard Abe Jackson and Leon Rice joining Leon Rice interview with Abe, and then also heard Abe joining us live to talk some basketball as well. So basketball goes down, tough loss, 84-73. Again, probably a game they should have found a way to win, but it's the second game of the season. It's a long year. That's going to be a quad 1, quad 2 loss. That will not be the loss that keeps them out of the NCAA tournament. That's a quality San Francisco basketball program. And not going to tell you how to feel about it. If you want to be pissed off, you want to say the season's over, whatever, go for it. But it's a tough loss. It stings. It hurts. But again, that's going to be a quality team and a quality loss, and it's not the loss that's going to keep them out of the NCAA tournament. A couple comments coming in. Appreciate you guys. Trailblazer says, you're the man. Thanks for a good post-game show. Grand Tetons, always appreciate you. Yo, your mama says, thanks, BJ. We suck, but we appreciate you. Brandon Bailey, thanks for everything. Appreciate the coverage. Everyone, please like and sub to the channel. Yeah, I appreciate that. If you guys are able to, you just watched an hour and 45-minute show for free here on YouTube. So at worst, if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button, we would really appreciate that. If you're able to support the sponsors and go buy lunch at Taco Bell or Lean Feast and go, switch your bank over to ICCU and buy your Boise State gear at the Blue and Orange store and get your next vehicle from Lithia Ford and use our friends at rowpaint.com or get a new roof from Signature Roofing. We'd really appreciate that. And when you do, take a photo, put it on Instagram, put it on all your social media channels and tag BNN and tell the folks there that you're using them because of BNN. So at worst, go support the sponsors, subscribe to all of our channels. If you have an extra $50 sitting around, we'd love to have your support. BNN 50 deals, the promo code. It's $50. You see that code at the bottom of the screen going across. And maybe we can come up with some deal this week, Jaden. Kansas. We need a Kansas promo code or something where people put it in this week, and then if Kansas beats BYU, I give you your money back or something. If you subscribe this week, and then Kansas beats BYU, would anybody do that? Would anybody pay that is not a subscriber right now? You're not a subscriber. You pay the $50 and you subscribe for a year. But if Kansas beats BYU, I give you like 30 of your $50 back or something. We got to figure something out, maybe, Jaden. I don't know if I can give him 100% refund, but maybe I give you $25 back, and you only pay $25 for the full year if BYU can beat Kansas. So Grand Tetons is all, or if Kansas can beat BYU. Great. See, then I get into this because they're already subscribers, and I don't want to leave them. You guys have been with me from the beginning, so I don't want to have it be a negative where you guys don't get anything. So if anybody has a good idea how we can put something on the line for the BYU Kansas game, I'm all ears. Would love to hear it, and I'll be rooting for Kansas super hard, as you guys should be, to see if they can help Boise State. In the quest for the number 4 seed here. So we appreciate Jaden Finch. There he is. Give Jaden a wave. Give us a wave, Jaden. There he is. Jaden's wishing I would take him off the screen right now. He's staying full screen for a second. He's doing a tremendous job helping us out. Jaden, appreciate you. I know it's a late night for him as well. He's been working for about 11 hours and did a great job behind the scenes with all the highlights, with getting stuff on YouTube. And he's doing a tremendous job helping us out. And we're hoping to hang on to him as long as we can. So we got to keep paying this guy. So keep subscribing, keep helping out if you can. And we're looking forward to a fun week. We had my anniversary today. I guess it's no longer my anniversary. It's now 12:52. But shout out to my wife, Karen Rains, who is upstairs sleeping and has been for several hours. But 11 years married today, and got to spend it with Jaden in the press box and at the football game tonight. So, we did that. And then next week's my birthday. So we go from this game's on my anniversary, and the game next week's on my birthday. So it's funny. That's just the way the schedule works out. But appreciate you guys. Again, I know you're frustrated with the basketball loss. It's one game. Take a deep breath. Football game, maybe you're frustrated. It didn't look as pretty and wasn't great, and maybe you're not loving Maddox Madsen and his play. But again, you won. You have a feeling that half the teams in America don't have right now. Okay, how's Utah feeling right now? How are some of these other fan bases? How's Nevada feeling right now? So you won the game. Take a deep breath, relax, and if that's the worst game they play all year and they still won, then they're probably going to be in a pretty good place. And Ashton Genty got his numbers, so not all is lost either. So, your mama's saying thanks, Jaden. So, appreciate the nice anniversary. Congratulations as well. Thanks for that. So, there would be no BNN without Karen Rains. So, all of our sponsors make it possible. We couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without all your guys' subscriptions. But to have a supportive wife and family that helps allow me to travel to all these games and do these shows, certainly would not be possible. We have a lot of travel coming up with football and basketball here over the next couple of months. I'm going to be away from my family, and I appreciate my wife for making all this possible and allowing me to live out my dream, so to speak, here with you guys at 12:53 in the morning on a post-game show. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. Again, if you missed any of the show, you can go back and watch it. Spencer Danielson, Jeff Choate, Maddox Madsen, Marco Notriani, post-game interviews, Abe Jackson. That's all in the show, or you can go back on the YouTube channel and watch those as well. Again, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner. But again, the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. And like I say all the time, but the Rains family is so happy we made the switch. Just wish we had done it earlier. I know you have a lot of banking options in town. You probably love your bank, but Idaho Central Credit Union, you will not be disappointed. I highly, highly recommend making the switch. And our title sponsor, if there would be no BNN without my wife or everybody else, there'd definitely be no BNN without rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. So Andy Rowe and Company, appreciate them so much. All your painting needs, the concrete coatings, the interior, exterior painting, check them out. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics is roepaint.com. We're also going to be doing a show next week from Taco Bell. We'll tell you more about that next week. We got a busy couple of days coming up. And again, Monday morning, Mike Prater will join me at 9 a.m. That'll be our next live show, Monday morning at 9 a.m. That's about 30 hours from now. I guess 24, maybe 32 hours from now. And Mike Prater will join me and give his thoughts, and then we'll have the live press conference with Spencer Danielson, Dirk Cutter, and Eric Chenander on Monday as well. So thank you guys so much. I was trying to get it to 2 hours. couldn't quite get there. But again, thanks to Jaden. Thanks to all you guys for subscribing. Again, would love your $50 BNN 50 deal. But if you're unable to subscribe, we have the $6.99 monthly option as well. But if not, please go take your family to Taco Bell or use some of our sponsors, and like I said, that's a nice consolation prize. If you are unable to subscribe or don't want to subscribe, go support the sponsors. Tell them it's because of BNN. Take a picture, post it, whatever. And like I said, if you can retweet our videos, share our videos, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you're still doing a lot to help us out. So thanks, guys. We're going to end the show for this evening. And again, if you get a voicemail or something in tomorrow, we can play that on Monday's show. But again, basketball team falls 84-73. The football team wins 28-21. A mixed night in Bronco Nation. My name's BJ Rains. Appreciate you for spending your night with us. And again, Monday morning, 9 a.m., Mike Prater and I will recap it after we've had a day to sleep it off and think about it. And we'll get you set and start turning our attention towards the Corbin game on Tuesday night for basketball. And then the big game against San Jose State on the football side coming up next Saturday. So thanks a lot for all of our sponsors, for all of our subscribers, for all of our friends, for all you guys. This has been a presentation of rowpaint.com from the Western Collective Studios. Again, go get that Horseshoe Golden Ale or that Orange Chaos Seltzer at Albertson Stadium or your local retailers. And again, the Idaho Central Credit Union postgame show for Bronco Nation News. And of course, online at bronconationnews.com. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll talk to you on Monday morning.
Bronco Nation News is presented by rowpaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.